Okay, thanks everybody for waiting a couple of minutes. We're going to get started now. I'm Adam Gordon. I'm one of the co-founders at Candidate.ID, and we've launched a few new really important features recently. Candidate.ID is already the only product in recruitment which shows you which candidates are cold, warm, and hire ready, but it is now able to show you which candidates are the best fit for your job as well. So I log into Candidate.ID, and the first thing that I do is I go to my pipelines and I take a look at the pipeline that I'm interested in hiring for right now. So I've got jobs in engineering. Go into my engineers pipeline. I can see I've got 485 who are cold, 854 who are warm, 661 who are hire ready. John is cold because he's on 5 points. Jane is warm because she's on 10 points. Janet is hire ready because she's on 20 points. But then Janet does nothing for 2 months. Her points start to deplete. She goes back down. She's in warm again. So it's not a straight journey from cold to warm to hire ready. Candidates can go back and forth, of course, in real time. This segment overview is the different segments that I have within each pipeline. So in this case, I've got segments for locations and job skills and things like that. And this is the equivalent of a LinkedIn saved search effectively. So let's take a look at my design engineers. In my design engineers segment, I've got none who are cold, none who are warm, 16 who are hire ready. Okay, that's good. Let's take a look at this segment for London. 23 who are cold, 54 who are warm, 26 who are hire ready. Click onto my hire ready candidates. Here they all are. And here's their engagement scores. I filter them by their engagement score. We call it ID score. This candidate's on 15 points. I'm going to go into her profile and take a look. She could be suitable for this opportunity. So I've got some summary information about the candidate up here. I'm really sorry, my daughter's just brought in a delivery from Amazon for me, which I don't really need just now. She's 3. I've got some summary information about the candidate up here. And then a bit further down, I can see exactly what the candidate's been doing, so I know what to say when I make contact. Now, this is bot-generated data. So this is not a real candidate example, but here is a real candidate example. Here I can see that the candidate opened an email about how we work, got 1 point. Looked at the landing page for how we work, got 3 points. Looked at the CEO's blog, 1 point. Meet the team, 3 points. Careers page, 8 points. As a recruiter, I know what to say to make contact with this candidate. So I'll say, hey, I'm calling from Dialogue Semiconductor, and I want to tell you about our CEO's vision for the future of semiconductors, as well as find out your thoughts about this job that I'm working on right now. Okay, you know how to build rapport because you know exactly what they've been doing. So I would get an alert as a recruiter because this candidate did this thing with 8 points, this meaningful activity, looked at this particular aspect of the careers site, or because the candidate scored 15 or more points in the one day, or because the candidate did 5 or more meaningful activities in the one day. So there's lots of ways that you can have alerts coming in. Other things in here, we have made this more CRM-y over the last sort of 6-9 months. There's calls and notes, so you can sync this with your email and calendar, and any calls and notes between you or your colleagues in this candidate appear in here. Or of course, I could manually add notes and reminders. I can drop in CVs and any other documents, and then I can search for these using our new very, very powerful search functionality. And then I've got this privacy preferences section, which generates automatic GDPR compliance. So if a candidate's retention date's coming up for renewal, it'll automatically send out a sequence of communications designed to get them to opt in, and then it'll stop sending them as they opt in. I could send an email directly to each person from here. If I've got a real mobile number, I could send a text message from here, and then all of that communication appears here back in the calls and notes section. Other newish features within candidate IDs, the company page. So I just add in the company, my competitor in here, and then automatically any candidates that work for that organization will appear at that company page. Jobs, we're not trying to suggest this is an applicant tracking system. It's not, of course. However, if you wanted to manage jobs from here, there's a simple jobs manager. So in this example for a pub company, these are for landlords. I've got my long list. I want to take this person through to a shortlist and move them through here. That person appears in the shortlist, and then I could click schedule and take them through to the interview stage, assign a hiring manager to them, and then I've got some analytics here about where the role has progressed to. One of the most exciting aspects is definitely the campaign builder. Some of you may have seen this, but if you haven't, I'm just going to quickly talk through how this works. So I've got links and downloads as the first component that you would use when building campaigns. This is content assets. It's like a library. So I just click new, I choose my content asset, video, image, blog, whatever it might be. I drop it in here, click save. It'll give me a trackable link for that. Alternatively, any external website pages that you want to track people going to, you just put in the URL for that website, that web page, and click save. It'll give you a trackable link for that. Between adding in different components and external like web links, you've got a lot of different content assets there that you can use to start building campaigns with. I can build forms to capture candidate information. Just go into new, fill in a bit of information at the top, select what information I want from the candidates. There's lots of different options in here, or I could add a new field, and then I choose my action, which is what do I want to happen when the candidate fills that form in? Do I want their points to change? Do I want them to move pipelines? Do I want their tags modified? Do I want them to get an email? Do I want me to get an email? Lots of different options in here. This is what we use for progressive profiling. My recommendation is when you're automatically trying to build your candidate pipelines, ask them questions and have them streamed into segments automatically as they're answering those questions. This is how you can automate the development of your talent pipelines. The next component is landing pages. So I just go into my landing page builder. I either select one of my existing landing pages, click clone and then edit, or I select new and I go into the landing page template that I want to use. Of course, our customers have all got branded templates in here. They drop in the content assets, drop in the text, drop in any forms, click save. It gives them a unique link for that landing page. The email builder is exactly the same as the landing page builder, except the what comes out of the other side is an email format rather than a landing page format. So we're deliberately keeping consistency between content formats. Now the campaign builder. This is for me the most exciting thing. So I click new and I want software engineers in London. And I'm going to call this a lead gen campaign. The pipeline I select would be engineers. The segment would be London. I want new candidates to enter the campaign. That's really important. New candidates into the pipeline automatically start receiving communications. I want to make it live on Saturdays and Sundays. And I want to make it live between 9 and 11 in the morning. These are good times to be communicating with potential candidates. Because although we consider these work communications, they consider them personal communications, of course. So I'll save this, and now it takes me into the campaign builder where I've got the opportunity to do a million different workflows. So I'll just click on here and then I select my actions. Do I want their engagement score to change? Do I want them to move to another pipeline? Do I want them to move to another stage? That's cold, warm, hire ready. Do I want to delete the candidates or delete just their profile data? Do I want their tags to be modified? Do I want to send them a webhook? Do I want to send them an email? Do I want to send me an email? Do I want to move them into a different pipeline? Send me a notification, which is a platform notification in here if recruiters are living in Candidate.ID. Or do I want to send the candidates a text message? And then in terms of decisions, lots of different options in here. Did they open the email? Did they visit the URL? Did they click on the content asset or click on the form? Did their email bounce? There's lots and lots of different things. So it's an if this, then that method for how I'm going to go about building my campaigns. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes just to build something and show you how this would work. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'd send an email to the candidates. We'll call that email 1, and we'll select email 1. Save. It knows to send that Saturday or Sunday between 9 and 11. And candidates will receive those messages randomly between those periods. So the decision is going to be, did the candidate open an email? Email 1 open. It knows it's the specific one. And I click save. And then I choose what happens if they opened it. So if they opened it, their points change, +1. If they did not open it, I want their points to go down, -1. So somebody not doing something, people think that if they're not doing something, that doesn't mean anything. It does. It means they're communicating. I'm going to wait 2 days and click save. So their points go up by 1 if they open the message. They go down by 1 if they don't open the message. Talking of messages, let me just check my message. Is this designed to replace a CRM or work alongside it? Good question, Chris. For a recruitment agency business, it's almost certainly designed to work alongside a CRM. For an employer, it probably replaces CRM. So from here, the next thing I do is, so the points go up by 1 if they open the email, down by 1 if they don't open the email. The next thing I want to do is, if they didn't open the email, I want to send them a text message. So 2 days later, they'll get a text message with a link in that text. And that would be 2 days later if they haven't opened the email. Okay, that's going to generate 23% more interactions. And then what I want to know is, from the email or the text message, did they visit the website? Careers site visit. Okay, did they visit the careers site? And if the answer is they did, then what I want to happen is that triggers email 2. So send email to candidates, email 2, and email 2 is designed to do something specific, and that'll be 2 days later if they did visit the career site. If they did not visit the career site, then I might want to send them a different message designed to do something different. So email 3, and again, that would be, say, 2 days later. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to do is, if the candidate looked at the job description, clicks on asset, job description visit, okay, and I would select the particular asset that they have clicked on within 1 day, then they did not. So if they looked at the job description, but they did not click on the form to say they're interested in applying for that job, because if they do, that'll come in through the applicant tracking system or through your CRM. But if they didn't, then I want an alert, and the alert's going to say, hot candidates, call these people. Job description, viewed, no apply. Okay, no apply. And I select myself and Siobhan as the 2 people that get the notification to go and contact these candidates 1 day later. So, I mean, this has taken just a couple of minutes. I mean, I would build this once, and then I would continually enhance it and build it out, build it out, build it out. So let me show you a couple of other examples. I've got a little bit of chat to review. Let me see. How do we know they visit the website or the career site? Okay, great question, Rory. We know that by cookie tracking, IP recognition, fingerprint, which is a component unique within recruitment to Candidate.ID, which is about tracking what's the person's device location, browser, operating system, screen resolution, things like that. On any websites you own, you'd also have Candidate.ID tracking script in the background, which is kind of like applying Google Analytics. Any websites you don't own, you use the trackable links. Let me show you an example. This is my favorite slide because it explains everything there is to know really about Candidate.ID. So who do you call first? If you can see that in the last week, John opened an email from you, but nothing else, whereas Jane opened the email, clicked the link, looked at the landing page, looked at your company on Glassdoor and YouTube and the hiring manager's LinkedIn or the recruiter's LinkedIn and the job description, clearly Jane's more likely to be ready for a conversation than John. So Jane has opened the email that's come out from Candidate.ID. There's a pixel embedded in the email that activates a cookie. At the point that she clicks on the link is a trackable Candidate.ID link. She goes to the landing page, it's embedded with tracking script. From the landing page, clicks on a link to go to the Glassdoor page, looks at what it's like to work at your company on Glassdoor. At the bottom of that, there's a link which says, come and look at our YouTube video to find out what it's really like to work here. Clicks on that. At the end of the YouTube video or in the summary for the YouTube video, there's a trackable link there that says, come and look at Sarah's LinkedIn profile because she's hiring right now. Goes to Sarah's LinkedIn profile. At Sarah's LinkedIn profile summary, there's a link which says, take a look at this job I'm hiring for right now. And that's how the tracking works. So if you're using a CRM to try and nurture candidates, you can see that John opened the email and Jane opened the email. That's it. With Candidate.ID, John's on 1 point, Jane's on 1 point for the email, 1 point for the link click, 3 for landing page, 3 for Glassdoor, 3 for YouTube, 5 for the hiring manager's LinkedIn, and 10 for the job description. Jane's on 26 points, John's on 1 point. Very, very big difference between their levels of engagement. If you've got 2 candidates and that's it, you call them both. But if you've got 200 Johns and Janes, you filter them all according to the engagement scores and you get to the shortlist much, much faster. Okay, so let me come on to the sourcing and matching. So I don't have enough candidates in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my source and match function to go and look for people in my CRM or ATS. So I type in, say, resume. We've gone with an American word in there. And I'm going to look for people with Java. So I search the candidates and it's brought up, how many candidates is that? 9 candidates with Java. And we can see their match score. This person's got a 91% match, 88% match, 88% match, 88, 84, 100% match, that's good. 84, 63, and 55. So these candidates have got these matching scores based on that keyword. It's using natural language processing. It's using semantic search, and it's using contextual analysis. I'll go back to the search and I'll refine it a bit further. Java and JavaScript. Search the candidates. It's now going to bring up, okay, so there's only 2 with Java and JavaScript. This person's got an 83% match, and this person's got a 100% match. So that's excellent. 2 good candidates here. However, it's probably not quite enough. If I want to take a look at this person's profile, here's some information about this candidate. This is their CV, really strong Java, very strong Java, very strong JavaScript as well. So not surprisingly, that person's got 100%. So that's how I can take a look straight away from their CV from here. I want to find more candidates there. That's not enough. So I'll go on to what we call job board search. And within the job board search, I can search over 300 different locations, including social networks like LinkedIn, for example. Just depends on what your organization's got access to. So if you've got an account for Indeed or for Monster or Reed or somewhere else, then you can attach it to this. You can attach LinkedIn accounts. You can attach LinkedIn Recruiter. So let's have a look. I've got in here CV Library, LinkedIn Basic Account, LinkedIn Public, which is a search through Bing. And then I've got Reed as well. So I've only got 4. You might have a lot more than that. And bear in mind, this is just a demo account. So what am I going to do? I'm going to search Reed specifically. So I'll fetch the job board interface. And I was searching for Java and JavaScript. Select Reed specifically. And I'm hiring within, let's say, 20 miles of Glasgow, G41 postcode. Search the job boards, and this is now going to bring up any relevant candidates on Reed. Okay, great, and here they are. I've got 100 of them. I'm surprised there's 100 Java and JavaScript engineers on Read. But anyway, 99% match, 98% match, 97% match. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this candidate. Click on resume. It's going to bring up the candidate's resume. Senior Java developer. Excellent. Okay. Bit of information. I can now parse that information. Just click on here. I can parse that into Candidate.ID so that a profile gets created for that candidate. So I hope that's been interesting. As I mentioned, there's nothing else in recruitment where you can see what the person's engagement scores are, and alongside that, what their match is against the vacancy. So having those two things, one of our customers about 2 years ago described that as being the holy grail of what they would want from Candidate.ID. And so we said, yeah, okay, we'll build it. So once we rebuilt the main Candidate.ID product, we've then gone in to include this, the job board search and the sophisticated candidate searching, looking into the ATS or CRM. So I hope that's been interesting. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. And I am, yeah, really looking forward to talking to anybody that wants to find out more. All the very best. Thanks for turning up.